So, there are a lot of twists and turns in life and a lot of unexpected opportunities. And I was very happy in the UVA Department of Psychology. I had a lab, I had grad students. But when I was beginning to write The Righteous Mind, my wife and I had our second child. And it was clear this is all consuming. And I'm not going to be able to travel up to New York to do interviews for this book when it comes out. And I don't know how I'm going to write it in time for the presidential election of 2012, because I had to get it out before then. And so I took one of the few real gambles in my life. I said to my chair, how about if you don't pay me and I don't teach? And this was the early days of the financial crisis, so he was like, okay, UVA is happy to do that. And I just lived off the advance of the book, and I got a lot written. And then I had given a talk at NYU Stern at the business school a year or two earlier. So I called up the guy who ran the program, the Business and Society program. How does business affect society? I had a lot to say on that. And I said, can I come up and teach business ethics for a year? He said, yes, we'd love to have you. They found me a great apartment, which at NYU is a big deal. Nice housing is a big deal at NYU. So my wife and I came up with our two little kids, and we had a blast. We loved New York City. And I thought I was going to hang out in the psych department. I thought I'll learn a little about business, but that's not so interesting, I thought. But just before I went there, I listened to a series of lectures on capitalism by a brilliant intellectual historian, Jerry Mueller. It's called Thinking About Capitalism. I urge everybody to get it from the teaching company. And it was like the intellectual history of how we came to have the modern world. And just as when I learned about the theory of evolution, suddenly I could see now I see why all the plants and animals are here. And when I learned about capitalism, business history, finance, contracts, all the things, the cultural inventions, it's like, oh, now I understand how everything I can see got here. At least I have a sense of how we live in such abundance now. So anyway, that's a long, sort of high-level story. I end up fitting in very well because we have a mandatory ethics class. It's called Professional Responsibility. So at first, that's what I did. But then because I taught positive psychology at UVA, and I've been in the positive psychology movement from the beginning, so I developed a course for the MBA students called Work, Wisdom, and Happiness. Few business schools have a course like that. Stanford has one called Touchy-Feely. And this was about how to become stronger, smarter, and more sociable. These are skills that will make you more successful and happier. So I taught that for a number of years. And then the mental health crisis of Gen Z became so clear by 2019. We had a faculty meeting about what are we going to do about all these depressed and anxious students. And so I volunteered to say, well, let me take my little MBA course, this half semester thing, let me make it a full semester course for the undergrads more focused on mental health. So that's what I do now. I teach a course called Flourishing, in which I work with the undergrads to change their habits, especially around their phones and their social lives, to make them happier.